Enterprise Digital Podcast with Ian Aitchison and Barclay Ray, navigating the ever-expanding service management maze.
Hello once again, it's the Enterprise Digital Podcast. Aren't you glad? We are glad. We're here, happy, ready, and buzzing to talk to you about all things service management, product management, experience management, however you want to classify it. I am Barclay Ray, and I am joined as ever by Ian Aitchison. Ian, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great, thank you. I'm enjoying a beautiful, warm and sunny day as we record this, so life is good. There is a spring in my step, my tail is bushy, and my eyes have a twinkle.
That's enough of that. We don't need to hear too much on that about your bushy tail. Well, maybe we do. Maybe you've got something about your bushy tail to talk about. But at this point, it's traditional. It's something we've done for years, and we keep doing it. We talk about a little bit of something a little bit whimsical, a little bit trivial, perhaps, or trivia. Do you have any trivia with you, Ian, today?
Yes, I have some trivia before we introduce our fantastic guest this week.
We do have a fantastic guest, yeah.
We do have a fantastic guest. Let's do the trivia quickly because it is interesting. It's not about insects or animals. It's not about brain cells. It is about cells in a way, but not what you think. So let me ask you first, Barclay. You probably have heard of the CSIRO. You ever heard of the CSIRO?
No, I haven't heard of the CSIRO.
They are actually ex-customers of mine in a past life. Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation in Australia. Very, very clever people. Australia's National Science Agency. They are brilliant, and they do amazing, serious research into serious scientific topics and produce amazing innovations. One of the sort of leading science innovating organizations of the world, CSIRO. Why do I mention them? Well, great news story in Nature magazine recently, nature.com rather. Our results provide the first experimental demonstration, I'm reading off the screen here, of super extensive light to charge conversion in steady state, highlighting the feasibility of strong light matter coupling for enhanced energy harvesting. What do you think about that?
Good. That's good. Let's move on. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, let me put it in simpler terms why this is a great bit of trivia. Basically, what they have done in working with the University of Melbourne and RMIT University, they have produced a proof of concept quantum battery. A quantum battery charges, stores and discharges its energy, just like a chemical battery, but does so with a laser light. So light charges the battery, and it does it much, much, much faster than a traditional chemical battery like we use today. The ultimate ambition is to charge electric cars much faster than petrol cars are charged or fueled, and to charge devices over long distances wirelessly. This is amazing. Really cool new technology, proof of concept, charging a battery with a laser light very, 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 very quickly. A long way to go before it actually hits the streets and becomes real. But it is quantum based around superposition and entanglement, which is what drives the very high speed charging with a laser light. How about that? It's amazing. Well done.
Yeah, I think just in general, however it's done, a solution to the battery problem is something that's needed. I mean, I was listening to a program this week about compressed air. I mean, you're talking about light, but it was actually about the changes that have happened with how people use compressed air, the inner tube and the ability to move vehicles more comfortably and effectively. Space travel, and lots of things to do with healthcare and so on, how that really has made a difference. But just something simple like that in terms of like how it enables other things. So we have the problem, particularly with air travel, I think, that the batteries are just going to be too heavy and too difficult to run planes. So something like that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long way to go, but you can see how the move away, well, all the problems at the moment around the world relating to carbon fuel and oil and all of the things that are going on at the moment around that, and the price and the political factors, they all go away when you move to electrical, renewable and recharging batteries. And if there's a new type of battery coming, which is quantum based, not chemical based, then all of those current problems go away as well. It's an exciting world, Barclay. We should be happy to be in a world of such innovation. It's great.
It doesn't feel like that at the moment, but I'm sure there will still be people issues and political issues that will cloud those things. They won't just be simple solutions, but it's good to hear. It's good to hear. And I don't resent the Australians in any way for having invented it first. I know and even like a few Australians, so that's
I'm a huge fan.
They're shouting at the podcast screen there. Anyway, so let's dwell on that and think about, maybe use the example of how we can do things differently and how some simple changes can make huge impact in terms of how we do things overall. But let's introduce our fantastic guest for the day.
Yes.
And it is the irrepressible Sami Kallio from HappySignals. Sami, how are you doing?
Very good, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. You have been on before, very early, I think, when we started this. You did join, and I'm sure we talked. Well, you probably talked sense. We were probably just babbling as usual.
We don't do that.
But that's what we do. Sami, you what is it? 10 years now. HappySignals, is that right? Something like
already. Yeah. So 12 years. So it's been a long journey already. So
congratulations on that. That's a significant milestone. We've lots to talk about in terms of where you're going with that, where the experience part of the industry is moving, how we're seeing people coming together and organizations coming together, etc. Let's just start off with you and how you've come to this. How did you come to this today? How did you end up on the Enterprise Digital Podcast? How did you end up doing service management? If anybody out there has never heard of you, then I don't know where they've been, but just give them a quick sketch of your background. That would help.
So I've been running HappySignals for now 12 years, as I said, and I'm coming from Finland, which is the happiest country of the world. So we are bringing that happiness all over the world to bring some happiness to IT and learn what people feel about IT and so on. So before that, I was running other kind of companies, like consulting companies, like real deep understanding of human behavior and doing designs on different services, even mostly on digital area. But that brought me kind of the understanding what does it mean really to understand people behavior and what that we are different and how we work and what we appreciate. So that has been my personal history before this one. And now bringing those practices into the IT has been now the last 12 years of driving that change, helping first early adopters and nowadays quite many different kind of organizations in different maturity levels to do changes in the speed what they are able to do.
What's the answer? I mean, how do you change human behavior in a word? What's the elevator pitch to that?
I think that
getting a baseball.
That is a good question, partly, but we in IT should be changing the question around. We should understand the human behavior, not try to change it. We should change how we serve those different people. There are compromises on that one, but I think that's very often how people first think about it, how we change the behavior, but no, how we in IT serve those different behaviors and different IT skills is a good example that not everybody is having the same level of IT skills. We can't have, if we are doing a great service, we cannot do it exactly the same for every kind of people and employee.
And that idea of changing, that's kind of typical IT arrogance, isn't it? Oh, well, we need to change the people then so that they work to us. Whereas actually, if we understand better what they need.
And why they say certain things. So it's kind of, if maybe this is long fetched, but kind of sometimes I feel that there is like even in relationship, like husband and wife relationship, you might be like, you don't really listen what the other is saying, or you are just in your own box. And IT works the same way with sometimes in business, that we are not listening, we are not like understanding that okay, hey, this is two-way, that we have to do this stuff. So we just cannot tell, hey, this is how it works, use it. We can, but then we are not doing the thing what we should be doing. And I think the thing in last years, I have more and more tried to kind of ask prospects and customers that kind of why experience management and experience is so important. Is like, if you really think about internal IT, why it is there, it has only one task: help the rest of the organization be happier and more efficient. IT doesn't on its own typically create any value for the organization, meaning, okay, they create value, but they are not creating sales, they are not doing the products. Yes, there are IT companies when that is not true. But kind of if we are in IT thinking that it is enough that we do what we do, then like, no, that is not your task. It is helping the others to do their job better, not only your own. And I think that is sometimes like, when you say it and ask that from people, that isn't it like this? Like, of course it is. And then still they might be thinking that, but we are doing things in this correct way. We are doing it as agreed, and we are doing it. No, it's not anymore enough. You have to understand how you create value for the business. And I think that's the kind of it has been changing much slower than I thought 12 years ago, to be honest, because it kind of felt that this must be changing in 5 years and everybody is doing it. Yeah, there are still organizations going further in this area quite, I would say, even quite slowly, to be very brutally honest.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's slow. I can see Ian twitching there when you said, Ian, when IT doesn't have any direct value. So I'm sure there's a discussion. Okay, that's great. Welcome to the podcast. We'll get into the discussion, but before we do, let's do some finished drinking and have a drink in both hands and celebrate 12 years of happiness, and then we'll move on. So, Sami, let's start just briefly at the beginning and then introduce a couple of concepts. Why is it important that we try and measure more than just delivery? You know, that we measure experiences as you talk. Why happiness even? You know, we're not here to make people happy. We're here to earn money and to do stuff. Why is that important? And how has that changed? And you said it hasn't changed as much as you'd like over time, but it has changed a bit, definitely. That everybody knows or talks about experience to some level now compared to a few years ago. So why is it important? First of all, let's get that one out from your perspective.
So one thing that we have known from the very early years when we started to measure experience in service management, we always have had also the measurement of lost time. And that is really the like business-wise why, and happiness and the lost time, they correlate. So the happier people are, the less they have lost time. And that is then the business case of really making. And of course, some people really, after, as you probably said, you only need the business, you only focus on business needs. But it's not that black and white, because of course, if you are more happy, you are not complaining, you are in front of customer, you are smiling because everything works, compared to if things fail with your device or any application or something, that will influence how you are seen by your end customers and so on. And so happiness does have a big influence on, and also like, even though, yes, of course, currently there is so much big layoffs and so on, but from the best talent, you need to make sure that people are happy with how they work and what tools they have and so on. So I don't think it should be taken more seriously. But what has happened now in these 12 years is that when we do get a new customer, the level of the experience, even before we have been in the game, is higher, quite much higher than it was 12 years ago.
Mhm.
Say roughly that 12 years ago when company started, the happiness score in the beginning was 50. Now I'd say it's 65 or something. Average of our customers is 77, I think, or 78. But the starting level is higher. So we are doing better job from the experience perspective globally, even though people wouldn't be doing it with our product or any other, like really taking things from that perspective, using a specialist tool for this. But experience in overall is higher than it was 12 years ago. So
which is good. I think you're absolutely right, Sami. That recognition of the perception that IT is delivering value to the business and enabling business success, that perceived received value is very important. And I think, obviously with my background as well, that recognition of experience becoming increasingly important. We now see it in ITIL version 5, of course, coming in there as well. I had an interesting conversation recently with somebody where we were talking about, if they say they're really happy, is that good enough? So if you ask somebody, for example, I was talking to a relative of mine recently and asking about their home business, and they were saying it's great, it's really good, and it was there in the background, and it was actually quite slow, and it kept pausing, but they were happy. They were happy with it. So is there also maybe the factor that sometimes it's not only what they tell you, but also as well looking for opportunities to make it better, to delight them beyond what they think is good. Am I making sense there? It's like
it does. I think there is. First of all, there are huge cultural differences how people rate happiness globally.
Yes.
So you say you are happy much more likely than, like, in Western Europe, people are quite critical compared to the rest of the world. So if you have first people from let's say part of the Asia, or you have people from South America, US even, people are much more positive. But the reality is that when we do also ask the lost time, it is more honest from people, from the perspective that, but still I lose that one. So you might be very like saying that, everything works well, but still you say that I lost work time. But it's like expected that I do lose work time. But if you really want to, like, business-wise develop services, yes, most of our customers are very much focused on the experience, the happiness, because that is the thing that is talked, that is the perceived thing, that is what business tells that you are doing bad thing or good thing. But then when you start to focus on the time, you find a totally different aspect.
Time, absolutely, yeah. Time is becoming the currency of IT success. Saving time, measuring time, saving time, eliminating wasted time, just doing things smoother and faster. Friction adds time. Removing friction takes the time away, eliminates time. I remember at Barclay we had Roy Atkinson on 2 years ago, talking about exactly that topic, talking about how it was all like the bathwater around a plug hole. It was all spiraling around time becoming such an important thing. And that makes people happy. If you remove wasted time, you tend to make people happy.
Yeah, and it's also the other side. If people feel they are losing time, that very fast turns to, like, complaining about the services and not being happy at all.
So you were saying them in the different areas, because I've got a couple of big global clients who, you talk to different parts of the organization, and they've got exactly the same processes and they're doing the same things, but the Mexican organization is always much happier than the German one, or the Polish one, or the British one, and so on. So, I mean, have you done any research on that? I mean, in terms of, separate from the actual data that you've got, as to why that is? Is it just culturally are people more likely to, not complain in some way? Because in the UK, for example, we were always terrible for not complaining about things, but now we seem to be one of those countries that complains about everything all the time, and I don't know whether that changes culturally.
So I have to say one thing, what I referred in the beginning, that Finland is the happiest country in the world. That UN happiness index, that correlates negativity with IT experience. So the higher you are in that one, the more critical you are towards IT. So if everything else is bad, you are more likely to say positive things about IT. That is very clear correlation when we looked at per country. But it's not only that it's a cultural thing, it is also that what kind of people, the behavior is different. So when we do have what we have been calling employee data and profile information and so on, like in Asia, there is almost half the how people see their own IT skills in most of the Asian countries is that there is less what we call doers. So people who think they are technically capable and will try to solve problems on their own. In Europe, that is like 60% of people. In Asia, it's like 35.
Oh, really?
How people just are different and behaving differently because of that. So it's not only, and these doers are the hardest ones to please in IT support, for example. For sure, of course, they only contact when there is like complicated thing because they have used ChatGPT and whatever to kind of try to solve things before they contact the official support. But if you have less of those people, you have more people with simple questions, of course, scores go up, if that makes sense. So there is a research a bit in our data in the benchmark report. The new one is coming out in about a month from now. So we are releasing that in early May. But
are there any interesting insights you can give us from that new report? Anything you can sneak peek preview about what's coming?
The thing what will be a pretty new area in there is that for all the kind of different measurement areas, as we call, so IT incident request, overall IT, laptops, remote work, and so on, there will be something what we call focus topics. So we have now used AI to help us to recognize certain themes that people are, when we ask them to write one thing, what you would like to fix, or if you want IT to focus on. We have used that to generate that from all our customer base to find top areas per measurement area. So like which are the most mentioned things when it comes to incidents globally, which are the ones that in overall IT people complain the most. Interesting here is that if we ask like how happy we are at IT, 2 of the top 3 are related to IT support. Even though there are like 15 in all those areas, but top 2, and those are about the speed and even the local support, which was a surprise for me when I saw it. I thought that would be something people would already have forgotten, that is, they are still top 3 thing in overall IT is that lack of local IT support.
Local IT support. So that's interesting. You're saying that people are still saying they're unhappy if they get poor support when they need it, and particularly poor support recognizing their geography, their culture, their language, their region, whatever that may be. So they feel like they're getting support across time zones, across languages, across cultures, and that's not so good. Am I playing that right?
That is quite a well put, yeah. But I think that's it's quite interesting from the perspective that if we look at all those measurement areas we are measuring, IT support has the highest score. But still, if we ask what is wrong in everything, it still is dominating reason that you should do this even better. So that is just underlining how heavily important from experience perspective support is. It is totally more important than any device, any application, because it is the support network people. So when they are talking about the experience IT, that is what is in their mind. So if you are a CAO and you want to influence, what is your reputation? Invest to IT support. That is the one that is really the one that first takes that. Of course, when you talk about the overall efficiency of the employees, the friction in application and them working well and so on, of course, that is efficient-wise has to be bigger than that one ticket that you have per month. But from the
one question,
reputation perspective.
One question that comes out there, because one of the things that I've certainly noticed the last year or two, or maybe in the last few years anyway, is there's much more this divide between technology and IT going, right, we're going to automate things to speed them up. Boom, automate as much as we can. So because things that don't add any value or any they're error prone and so on. So that's one direction. And the other side of the path goes the other way, which is that people seem to value good human interaction more. That they like walk-up service desks. They like direct means of support. They like having local people. When you mentioned local there, I don't know whether that's maybe part of this, but they like to have people that they know. So there's that desire to do things more quickly, but also there's a strong need that when we do make contact or when we have contact, that it's actually better than just pressing a button or doing something digital or online. Is that something that you see coming through as well? I mean, in this, or am I just am I trying to manipulate what you might be saying to what just my own experience is it going in those two directions?
Yes, it is. And I think in my view, the one that what I believe has been the biggest change in these 12 years of when we have been doing this is that all IT, especially I would say the big providers of service desks, the big CSIs, they are much better in the soft skills, in the communication. That is the one that has increased. So they are able to keep and connect with the people and keep them up to date better about the tickets. That has been dropping for the years now, that people are not complaining so much they wouldn't know. So the communication is better. Things take as much time as they did take earlier, but communication has been improved. The soft skills are better. And I think that's the thing that has happened in I would say, almost every case what we have been measuring for years. But then even kind of like that AI change, it is true that people, of course, people want to talk to people and have, most of us want to talk to people. Maybe some things I love those restaurants where I don't have to talk to anybody. I can scan the table code and say,
Me too. I like those.
I can't stand them. I really
exactly.
I got to manipulate this menu and I got to do. Oh no, God!
That's great. So easy.
That's the age.
I think what I believe will be happening quite soon, because of course all our big customers, all our big partners are doing putting AI in front of service desk for sure, and that is having already quite good experiences also from end users. And what we are trying to do there is to measure things in a way that it shouldn't matter who provides the service. Is it with AI, with help of AI, by AI, or human? You as a runner of a service, you have to understand the full experience and what is going on and develop that. But the interesting area there is that, let's say you have 10,000 end users in your organization, employees. When they contact a human in a phone, that human can understand, okay, now it is Barclay, he is working in this role, so maybe he's like this. But when AI will handle that, it can do it more customized than any human.
More customized.
More customized. Because it will know that, hey, Barclay is a technical skill is high. I can talk technical. I can give scripts to him. I don't have to explain it like to 10-year-old kid, which is needed for some of the people. But when AI start to understand how to talk to different kind of people, because it has the information about them, it can leverage that in scale, which human agents can't. And I think that is the area where things will head in at some point, not maybe in a this will take more than 2 years, in my opinion, and maybe then it's even more because you tend to kind of expect these to, but that is what I believe will happen in there. So it's like AI will be more human than humans because it can learn and it knows more.
Are you seeing any other interesting insights about the impact of AI in some of the data that you're bringing back? Is it being generally well adopted or bringing value, or is there a negative pushback in some of the data you see?
So we have been now, because it has been quite an ask from us by customers quite heavily now to companies are telling us happy now, like already more than 1 year, they have been telling the story that hey, they have now invested heavily on Copilot or ChatGPT, whatever the licenses, and the question is, where is the value? And then they come to us that, and when we ask this in our happy user group hack from our customers, that is it technology or humans that are now making AI adoption slow? It was almost everybody said fully humans. Technology is there. It is our ability to adopt it and understanding and being scared and so on. So there is two aspects that we now do with customers is to what we call employee data questions. That means that we are asking people about how they feel about AI. Meaning that I'm afraid of it even. Am I already getting any benefits on it? And now the early results there has been quite interesting that a bit more than 50% of people are already telling that AI has made them more efficient in their work. 5% are saying it is more stressful to work now.
Oh, really? But only 5%. That's interesting. So a small proportion are saying it's making work more stressful, but a larger proportion are saying it's making me more effective at the job I do.
And 35-40% are saying no changes.
And right, okay.
So that is still kind of but these are early results now, and that's why kind of it's not like that might change quite heavily now when we get more and more customers behind those numbers. But that seems to be now the level there. But it's about the people, how they feel, and are they trained and so on. And then it's about the tools themselves. But I don't see currently a lot of differences what Gen AI tool you are really using in those results. It's more about how you have trained your people, how they're adopting. And there are huge differences between different business units in all these customers where we have been looking at this. If you are a big organization, you have different roles where AI is more likely to be adopted than some others. And that's why kind of that was the thing what we try to kind of then help our customers to, hey, do the best use cases in this area first, because you cannot change everything at once. And in our customer base, there are also organizations that are doing nothing yet in the AI area, or maybe not nothing, but it's very limited still what they allow their end users to do.
But I guess the other area, which I think is quite interesting, is that idea that we give people the tools, we give everybody Copilot or whatever, and we maybe give them some resources or training or whatever, and then let them get on with it themselves. And on the one hand, that could be a really positive thing in terms of people working more efficiently. But you could get lots of people building things that, are maybe more of an overhead to the organization in total. And I don't know, that it would be interesting to know what kind of divide there is on that in terms of what the organization does and what the individual does, and if these two things are in sync.
Right, I think that is the one that organizations are really struggling now to understand. It's like the best users of it, they have done so much on their own, and it's not anything that the whole organization gets benefits about. And that is the thing what we have now recommended our customers. It's not something that many customers are now doing yet, but having what we call additional question, which means that you can ask from people who say that I have been using AI and I'm having these results. Then you can ask from those people that, hey, please share the best use case.
It's interesting what you talk about there, Sami, about understanding the adoption of AI across a business, because I know my old friends back at Nexthink have done some work around exactly this on the detection side. So rather than the asking them, there's also the monitoring and the detecting. And I think that leads us to an interesting topic, because we can openly talk about interesting relationships between Nexthink and HappySignals. I mean, there were some announcements a little while back, I think, about a partnership there. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about that one. Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited about that one. It has been the last year for my personal career. First time in HappySignals, I have been very, very much doing product stuff.
Yeah, it's great fun.
My role, I have always founded this company to be doing product and being part of that, but I've been running the sales until now. So now I have other people running that. So has been a pleasure, and I have been very much involved myself in that Nexthink collaboration, and that really is exciting, because what we are doing there is combining the hard data, tech data from Nexthink to the experience data. And in our end, we are always talking about the perception.
Yes.
How I felt. Do I feel my laptop is fast? And what does Nexthink say? That it is fast, and I still think, or Nexthink says it is not fast, and I'm still happy with it.
Yeah, that's kind of my point at the beginning, isn't it? That interesting one of just because they're happy with it may not be good enough. Sometimes you need a combination of, are you happy, and is it good enough? And if either of those is no, then you need to do something.
And then also when we combine that lost time to that one, if you say that I'm losing this and this much time, which is just the perception, I'm losing 2 hours per week with my laptop. And then we can look at from Nexthink data that, hey, yeah, boot time is very high in these cases, or something else. The processor is always running high. So that's kind of the what makes this experience data even more actionable when we do now together with Nexthink. There was one of our big customers that had made a decision of changing their global laptop provider. 3 months later, they canceled the decision because people were so unhappy with those devices.
Oh, really?
The earlier provider.
So they heard the feedback from the user community saying, bad choice, we don't like this isn't working, and they were able to undo that.
In our numbers, and it was heard also told to IT face-to-face, and they just made a decision that we cannot roll out now this change. This is going to be very expensive for us if we do it. But the next thing is it's really excited about that. We will have our next customer event in London about 1 month from now, beginning of May. And in there, we will have Nexthink and our customers talking about that. I will be talking about it as well. But it's like getting tech data to our platform to show the correlation between things and to get the full understanding of the full
it's leading to a technical integration, a data integration. Is that right? So
that is the current situation. So it is a technical integration, data integration.
Yeah,
can I just ask you, just going back to the 10, 12 years of you've been doing this now, and just in that sense of from that starting point when there was, people doing a few surveys here and there and a bit of NPS and so on, to where we are now, and as we said, that there's a lot more out there. There's in terms of tools, products, vendors, services, capabilities, models, XLAs. ITIL version 5 has experience in it. It's out there. It's a key element now. So there is progress there. My question to you is just simply, where do you see this going next? I mean, what's the picture like in 3-5 years?
The one thing what I believe quite heavily is that still 1-2 years from now, experience management is a bit in the end of the process, meaning that it is after ticket that we are surveying. It is when you are using device, we are measuring that. But what will change is that it becomes part of the service delivery. Going back what I said about AI, using that to create better service. So it's not only like if we measure that how well we did, we use the same data to make the process before better. I have to say I follow quite heavily now the model that Gartner has in the digital workplace, meaning the maturity model that they talk about, and that is something that is definitely interesting to follow. It just stays in my head when sorry, now I forgot who was the guy from Gartner that said in the beginning, dear customers, I'm so disappointed in you that you didn't do what you said 2 years ago. Because they always ask from customers where they think they are in 2 years' time. And only very big, small portions happens about that. So this is a big change for the additive things in IT people's minds. It is easy to work with the old metrics and just say that, hey, this is okay. No, it's not. If you don't understand what is the value you created for end users, you are just like closing your eyes from the truth. But that is still, there are more people still in IT, sorry to say, that are thinking like that than there are people who are thinking things further. In all big organizations, there are people who are thinking that, hey, this is the way how it should be done. But that is like individual maturity. There always have been like early adopters or experience management, people who are very willing to talk in our events, SDI events, whatever events, Nexthink events, that are very, very enthusiastic about it and really doing it. It's so inbuilt in IT that the servers are up and running, everything is okay. No, it's not okay. That's just like a basic situation that you have to then build on. And that is still that I hope I would have a kind of tool to kind of speed that up, but it is continually moving. But also the thing is that you don't need to have an XMO, you don't need to have an ITXM way of working defined and everything to start the journey to do experience management. It is to get the first understanding, first decisions, and so on. So in that Carne model, most of our customers are in 3-4 level. Nobody's in 5 almost in the world now. But the thing is that you should be starting when you are in level 2, because if you are doing CSAT, and if I ask you as a manager of that service, what do you do with that data? Have you done any decisions? If the answer is no, then stop to do that or do it well. And if you are then saying that I don't have time to analyze the data, then take a product that analyzes, and that is what we are doing with AI. You don't need to have a team doing stuff. AI can do it for you nowadays. And that is the thing, that you don't have to have a 10 people XMO, because some we are here like we cannot do this because we don't have 5 people in our organization focus on experience. That's in this business situation is unrealistic to think that you would get the promise. We do have a lot of customers that have those, but those are those 300,000 end user organizations. Of course, they can have 10 people in the XMO, but if you are 10,000, 5,000, you almost cannot, or in a very positive situation, maybe you can. It should be how everybody in IT thinks about things.
Yes, it's a cultural shift. This is what I've seen. It's a philosophical and cultural mind shift that changes how you think about things, and that applies to everybody. And you don't have to have, as you said, you don't have to have an XMO and a dedicated team of 20 people around the world focusing on experience. You need IT to always just be thinking about how can we remove friction and make these people happier in their work. Yeah.
I'm sorry to preach so much, but you guys know this is an important area for myself. So.
Okay, that was a really good discussion. Thank you, and thank you for your insight, Sami, and for your preaching. That's good stuff. Stuff that we like to hear. We like to hear people that are passionate and that are have got good ideas going forward. I'm going to let Ian ask you a quick. Can people find you on LinkedIn? Is that the easiest way to get hold of you and follow up?
Yeah, it is. And if there are any people that want to connect the ITXM summit that we do have in London in beginning of May, you can find that from HappySignals.com. And it is an open event, so if you want to register to that one, and would be, of course, Barclay and Ian, great to see you guys in there as well. It was a first time we had it last year. It was an amazing event.
Yeah, I came to the one last year. It was good. It was really good in the Gherkin or wherever it was. Ian, I'm going to let Ian ask you a final trivia, because he likes trivia, and he's always going to ask you something just a little bit odd.
I just like to bring a little bit of lightness and brevity to counterbalance your Scottish tone, Barclay. So, Sami, I've never been to Finland. Been to many countries, never been to Finland. I was going to ask you one question, which is, if I came to Finland as a first-time visitor, what should I absolutely make sure I see or do? Just one thing that you'd say you have to do this coming to Finland.
Great question. If you come here during winter, don't come to Helsinki. You have to go to the north of Finland. That is the only way how to do it. If you come here during summertime, don't go to the north. There are so many mosquitoes there. Come to Helsinki or some other the southern Finland summer cities. Also, I would recommend that don't stay only in Helsinki. Go out. Helsinki is a great city. I'm living there and loving the place. But Finland starts when you are out of Helsinki. Then you get the nature. And if you don't go like city travel, that's not Finland. We have a nice city, yes, but come here to see the nature.
Great.
And if you come, Ian, I can take you to see something else than the centrum of Helsinki. But
I look forward to it. That sounds fantastic. Very good answer, and kind of what I'd anticipated. Finland is more than just the great city Helsinki, of course. It's also mosquitoes. Excellent. Thank you, Sami.
but we don't have polar bears.
Okay, no polar bears. Well, that's good to know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sami. Thank you for joining. I hope to see you again. Look forward to see you soon. Ian, as ever, thank you very much. We'll see you next time on the Enterprise Digital Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.